let's pivot from there. Let's go away from you guys real quick. Let's start talking about other competitors. So let me ask you this. Was there any team in particular that really impressed you and Jeremiah through the competition?
Honestly, Theta Phi Gamma, the Foxy Ladies, the Feisty Foxes, they really, really impressed us because we haven't really seen them in that competitive light before, and we haven't seen them hungry for something like this. So the fact that they came out with such heat, the fact that Fortune and Nas really, really backed out some stuff, and that it just shows that they were working really, really hard. You can see that they were inexperienced, but they were ready to go. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
just to see that, it from people like us, from Jeremiah and I, who've been doing this stroll game for quite some time. He crossed 414, I crossed 415, and we've been doing this for quite some time now. So seeing that kind of like motivates us to be like, oh, maybe we gotta go harder. Maybe we gotta step it up. Maybe we gotta, like, you know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
in Greek life years, it moves a lot faster than regular years. So, I'm 5 years in Greek life now. It feels like I'm 50 years old. But it's like, oh, maybe I can still keep up with these young kids. You know what I mean? With
You
these
know,
with these newer guys.
that's actually something I wanted to touch on as well. With you being there for so long, do you feel like there's been kind of a difference between when you were starting off stroll wise into now when it comes to strong? Do you feel like there's been any sort of like generational difference with whether how people attack it, any sort of new things that you might have noticed, anything like that?
Well, I definitely do feel that way. It feels like, so I know when I first started, right? At least for Phi Sigma Chi, there was a lot of bigger dudes in Phi, right? If you look back at all our old videos at like 2010 to 2013, like all the dudes are huge, huge. And so I came in and I had to figure out how to attack our strolls differently. I had to figure out how to do things to make sure that, my generation was fit. And so moving to this generation, I feel like everyone does everyone does what they can to make sure that we all evolve with the times. You know what I mean? Because obviously no one's gonna want to be doing the same strolls to the same songs that happened 10 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? No one's gonna be interested like that. But if you have people who are going to reinvent the wheel, right? If you have people who are gonna come in and do something different, and it's just gonna be like, all right, how can I do something? How can I approach this strolling thing to a point where no one has ever seen this before? Then that's the way that you will, catch people's attention, blow people's minds. That's how you get yourself put on the map. And, I feel like that's what this new generation of strollers are doing. I feel like they're just they're finding their own way to reinvent the wheel to make sure that they know that they can keep up. You know what I mean? Because everyone leaves behind a legacy, and everyone's kind of in Greek life, everyone's kind of chasing that legacy to make sure that their org is still on top.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm. And also, let's talk about history and stuff like that. We've been in wars together. We've been there, done that, had a couple
Right.
t-shirts with it. So I know when it comes to your pedigree, you've competed plenty of times. You've been around those worlds. As we kind of transition through COVID and you start seeing the inventions of, the online competitions and things that matter, how was the transition for you going from, all right, I know what I need to do in person. I know what to do to get the crowd hype. I know what to do to get, people's attention and stuff like that. And then pivoting from there into, oh, we're doing this online. There isn't anybody in person. I don't know where the crowd is. I don't know what's making people impressed. Like, what was that transition like?
You know, it's so weird because in in a live competition, right? In a live competition, like once the crowd is with you, once you feel that energy, once you're able to like really feed off of the crowd's energy, anything could happen. Literally anything can happen, because if you have the crowd on your side, you can have some really like, your strolls might not be the best, but if you have the crowd on your side, that can weigh any judge over. You know what I mean? Um, so giving the transition where it's like I no longer have a crowd, I no longer have people watching me, I no longer have people hyped up. You have to kind of will the energy from within. You really got to like pull the energy from yourself and be like, all right, so we're here now. We're going to do this. We're going to get this done. And we're going to make sure that we are still hype as if there was a crowd still watching us. And that's the way that at least Jeremiah and I had to approach it. You know what I mean? Usually we're with like 5 people, 7 people, and it's just the 2 of us. But we know that if we ever went to a party or anything, the 2 of us are going to do what we need to do to make sure that the crowd is hype and the crowd is feeling us. So it was kind of just, pulling that same energy of like, all right, there's a crowd here. There's people still watching us. We still have to entertain them. We still have to make sure that we're giving and producing quality work and quality effort to make sure that, no matter what or who the audience is, whether it's live or, virtual, we still have to put on a show. We still have to do that. So that means we still have to bring the same energy. That means we still have to bring the same content. We still have to, go above and beyond what people have seen us do before. So it's like all these little things that just keep us like, okay, let's go. Bring the energy. Make sure you're making the right faces. Even though this is the 10th take that we did, we still got to make sure that we're bringing the same energy like it was the first take, because we don't get second chances. You don't really get second chances. You know what I mean? So it's like this one take has to be the take. No matter what it is, whether it's 1 or 32, this one take that we're doing right now has to be the take. And so that was kind of like the biggest eye opener and the biggest not struggle, but it was a big transition that we had to leap to. And it was just something that was like, all right, so we're gonna work and we're gonna make sure that it still comes off as if Pulse and S.H.A.Z.A.M are still in person with these virtual videos.
Like, I'll say this because New Level Stroll team, when we at New Level Stroll team did um the word phrases meaning the competition with trying to figure, I'm blanking right now. But we did our virtual competition in 2019.
Oh, that was the
It
Greek Wars
was
competition. Yes,
Greek Wars,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
Greek
yes,
Wars.
yes, yes.
Apologies. So shout out to Greek Wars. I don't want to make it seem like I just completely,
Yeah, I
dropped the
remember that one. Yeah.
It was a transition. It was kind of different because it's like, okay, what are we like? We know we can stroll. We don't in that case be there's like, oh wait, does cinematography now come into play with this?
Right. Absolutely.
Do we not have to throw in like 15,000 edits to get it right, or are they just wanting us to, throw a phone on a seat on that while I'm going into production mode, throw a phone on a tripod and just shoot it straight up and
Yeah.
that'll be fine. Like it all was kind of brand new. So when you go from like, all right, cool, I know on the stage I need to have this much space, I need to do this, and
Right.
this. When you throw into the virtual element, there's a couple of situations like, huh, how is this exactly supposed to work to where we're gonna get what we want?
Right.
You know?
And sorry to cut you off, but one thing that I loved about, for you guys, one thing that I love that you guys did and incorporated was the fact of cinematography, right? It played a role, but it didn't really count. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people can do a whole bunch of edits. They can get like the best videographers and the best editors, and they can make a video look like it's a movie. You know what I mean? But then the question is, are you really strolling? You know what I mean? Like, where's the quality of work in your strolling ability? And so one thing I wanted to make sure that Jeremiah and I did was we wanted to make sure that you guys, no matter win, lose, or indifferent, that you guys knew that we can stroll. You know what I mean? We are strollers, and that's what we came to do. And I just wanted to be like, yes, we can edit it, we can pay people to do whatever and make it look all good and make it look all tough. But then I don't want 20,000 edits and we're only strolling for 15 seconds. You know what I mean? It's like I want y'all to know from start to finish, we're strollers, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break the floor. We're gonna do some flashy stuff. It's gonna happen, and that's the way it is.
So we get the rounds, right? You knock all 3 rounds out. You look at the competition. You're seeing the scores. You're seeing everything come together. Once you get to that final round, you're seeing everything come together. You're seeing everybody doing this thing. And then the final results come out. And you guys win. And that was a
Yo,
win. The win with point zero
yo,
one
point zero
different.
one.
First off, how do you feel about the win? Second off, how do you feel that was that close? Like, do you expect it to be that close at the end of the day?
So oh man, I had so many mixed feelings, about it. So to be very honest, very honest, and this is gonna be something, whatever, I don't care. I'm me. So honestly, we weren't expecting to win after our 3rd round. We were like, people are gonna clown us for this 3rd round because shake it off is shake it off. No one, who does this? And we started out with like a little gimmick, and we started out with a little dance routine, and no one was expecting us to really pop out and really stroll towards the middle, towards the end. And so the fact that like we won was kind of like, wow. You know, I feel like we put out a decent quality of work throughout all 3 rounds to make sure that we were able to, you know, cement our spot. And when the score, on the other hand, when I found out the Zetas were 0.01 of a point behind us, I was like, there's no way this is happening right now, because people don't get that close. You don't get that. You really, really, really don't get that close. And, you know, I all due respect, you know, shout out to the Zetas. But I know for me, it's a little weird, because for me, I personally wasn't a fan of the Zetas' first video, right? But to see them come back the way that they did is ridiculous. Like, to see them come back strong and to see them like hit hard in the 2nd and 3rd round is amazing to see, because that also keeps us on our toes. You know what I mean? Like, we could sit here and be like, oh, we got this in the bag, but we won by less than this. You know what I mean? So it's just like, wow. Like, there's still great competition out there. There's still more work to be done. You know, they say in order for you to call yourself the best, you have to beat the best. And for me personally, everyone that knows me, not that I like to win with a landslide, but I like for people to know that like I bodied. You know what I mean? And so the fact of them coming so close is like, I kind of want to do this again. I kind of want to run it back and do it again, just to see, seriously, just to see what we can really do, and the publicity we can get. Because you gotta also remember, this is not just for us as Phi Sigma Chi. It's not just for you guys that Crush the Coast, you know, the Zetas, TPG, LAU, ADO. It's for the culture of the people. You know what I mean? It's for us to give back to, you know, the future generations of Greek life. It's to give back to the older generations of Greek life, to let them know that like, yo, we're still here and we're still working, you know, and let everybody else know like, we here, man. Like, we're not just sitting here. I know it's Corona. I know that COVID-19 kind of, you know, it did a number on all of us, but just know like, we still out here working. We're not just we didn't just stop because the world stopped. Like, we're still figuring out ways to make progress, make things happen, make things work, and still give back to the community in ways that only we know how. So that's what that was like a real thing for me. It's just like, I want to see if we can run this back, and let's see what everyone is really made of. And then to think about it, like, what would have been the difference of the virtual compared to the live? You know what I mean? If it was a live audience to a virtual audience, what would have been the difference in the score then? You know what I mean? All these little things are like were popping up in my head, like what, like all these questions and all these like little things. So
So
it was crazy.